Hello, cooler fans. I'm the PC Expert Amateur, and we're going to take a look at another water cooler. This one is the Yeston ZEUS GE-360 ARGB. And I will put these specifications on screen for you right now. I do want to point out that this is actually a Yeston Zeaginal product. It's not just Yeston, even though the box doesn't say it. Because Zeaginal was involved in the designing of things. I think it's the visuals. The mounting box has the usual. It's got the frames for AMD and Intel. Blah, blah, blah. It's got the spacers for both and the screw things for both, knurled nuts, and then it's also got some thermal paste. Now, I'm going to be frank here, just from looking at their website, and I have a couple of their fans, I'm not really expecting much from this cooler. And looking at the specifications that you can see, well, the fans are not bad, 68 CFMs and 2.4 millimeters of static pressure, but they use hydraulic bearings. I would like to have seen, with a fan that can go 1850 RPMs, that it had higher air pressure than that and higher airflow. Also, the pump doesn't really have much information. It's very slow, and there's no information about pressure or lift or anything. So that kind of suggests to me that this one is going to be a no-go. But we'll see. We'll see. But at least they packaged it nicely. So as you can see, it's all foam in there, and that's good. Considering that they sell, generally speaking, products that look nice but aren't good quality, which means that they're pocketing a lot of money, they should be able to put the foam in here. This one has the fans attached, unlike many other water coolers. So we'll start with the block this time around. And you can see that the block has a nice big copper plate, and this one actually has an LCD screen. Yes, I actually got one with an LCD screen. I know. Try not to go into shock. This is the only one I've got with an LCD screen. The tubes do rotate on the block, so that's good. Does the cover rotate? Nope. That's kind of a downside. But at least this forces people who are OCD to orient the tubes on the side, which is much better than like this with the tubes on the bottom. And we have both ARGB 3-pin and 4-pin on here.
Let's listen to this. There's some air in there. Now, I did this on purpose this way, so you could hear what it sounds like when there's air, but from this distance right here, right about here, I really can't hear the pump anymore, so it's not exactly what you call a problem. Now we're going to correct the air problem. It seems to be having a little bit of trouble getting the air out. So let's try to fix that. Yeah, just it's not doing well with getting rid of that air.
And you can see here that the LCD display is on. It shows us the water temperature and the pump speed, and it doesn't have fan RPM on because I don't have the fans connected right now. But we can change the pump speed with my controller here, and you can see that it is decreasing. And of course the the electricity is also being decreased for the LCD, which is why it's gotten so dim, which is not exactly ideal, but I guess okay. So I'll put it back up to maximum. Now we can easily connect the fans here. There is a special cable that you'll need to use. It's included in the package, and it has on one end a, what is that, 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. There's a 7-pin connector on one side, and that gets connected into the fan closest to the tubes. These fans are interlocking, so they're like unifans. Make sure to push it all the way in, but not too hard. I wanted to get this one because of the LCD, but also because I liked the fans. Visually, I thought they were appealing. Now I'm going to plug the fans in, at which point we should have a speed reading for the fans. Should. We'll see. Well, they didn't turn on, so that's a little bit disappointing. But let's try it the other way. Maybe I need to plug it in this way. It's not doing anything. Well, that is concerning. Now, I've had this problem in the past. When I first got this, I tested it to make sure it would work, and I did have a challenge getting it to work. And the secret is this. In order to get them both running, you have to connect the fans first and then connect the pump to the fans. But I'm still not getting an RPM reading for the fans, only for the pump. And that is not what's supposed to happen. It's a little bit weird. And I'm not sure why they did it this way. And the reason I say that is twofold. Number one, you have to connect everything in the right order. If you don't, then one thing or the other isn't going to function correctly. The second thing is you've got 3 fans and a pump and an LCD screen all pulling electricity off of one header. And I don't like that. So I've got it working, and I'll show you that we've got the RPMs and the pump speed and the temperature all there. But everything is running off of one single source. And that is not good. Again, but there is an alternative solution that allows you to use 2 different headers and still get both speeds. And again, you can see I've got both speeds, right? But what I've done here is this. I've taken the 4-pin female connector, PWM connector, and connected it to my header. And then there is a 3-pin connector, female, that I've connected to the male connector here. It's all part of one bundle going into the pump. And then the fans are running on a separate line to this header. See? So that is the only way you're going to want to install it. The reason that you don't want to install it the other way is it's probably drawing way too many amps, and it's eventually going to burn out something, probably your header, and you don't want to lose a header. But that doesn't actually work either. Because it shows for both the fan and the pump the same speed, and that's the pump speed. You can do it with 2 headers, but they don't make it easy to figure this out. And the lack of instructions is really annoying, as you have just seen. It's I hate that. Here's how you do it. You take your fan cable and you connect it to the 4-pin over here coming off of the pump. And then from there, you connect the male coming off of the pump, that's a 4-pin, to your fan header. So what that's doing is the first one is feeding the PWM and tach signals to the pump LCD screen and controller, and then the power is being supplied by the header for the fan. So it's solving that problem that way. And then you take the 3-pin connector and you connect it to your pump header, and everything works out just fine. Now, I know you're saying, but Glenn, where are all the pretty lights? I don't care about the pretty lights. I just care that this is working right. See, I'm going to show you. Hold on to your pantyhose. See, it's got 2 different numbers there. Let me try to get closer to you. All right, can you see that? 2190 and 2100. Different results because it's the fans and the pump, not just one. Now I will connect the ARGB, but if you complain one more time, that's it. So we're going to take the connection to your motherboard, connect that to the fans, and now you can see that the fans are lit up, and I'll show you more in a minute. And then we get the cable for the pump, find the ARGB connector in that mess. Let me show you with the lights off. The fans, I don't know, do they look nice? What do you think? And the pump has got this kind of interesting motif running around its sides. I don't know what to think of that. Do you like that motif? I don't know if that's like supposed to be mountains or what that is exactly. But, okay. At least it looks different. So this is the ZEUS GE with LCD screen. You know, I kind of wish, no, not kind of, I really wish that this ring would be split in 2 and the top half would be for the pump, and it would change the size of the top half of the ring based on how fast the pump was going, and the bottom half of the ring would do the same thing for the fans. I think that'd be kind of cool. But let's get back to the light side. Okay, I'm going to do this one more time, the wiring thing. I want to make sure that everybody really understands how to do this the right way in order to use 2 different headers, one for the pump and one for the fans, and get your lights going. So I'm going to start with the lights. Now, the cable that comes off of the fans looks like this. If you need to pull and separate it more, that's fine. This is your cable. If you need to separate it all the way down to where the plug is on the other end, go for it. Whatever you need to do, you do. As far as that's concerned, just don't go cutting. Just gently tear and they'll come apart. So you're going to take this, which is the female, and you're going to connect it to your motherboard or whatever your source is. I'm using a cable. Then, to get the next one connected for your pump, you can do one of 2 things. You can either remove the cover for this, and then you can take your cable from your pump, grab the female, grab the male, and they make babies. Not really, but you get the idea, right? Or just plug this one into another ARGB header if you've got another. If you don't have another header, if you only got one ARGB header that's available, then just do this. Connect them together. Daisy chain them. But if you're not going to daisy chain the pump and the fans together, make sure to put this cap on again so that it protects the pins. Otherwise, you could end up damaging them and then you won't be able to daisy chain, even if you need to. When I was doing it before, I had everything still all tied together, so it looked very complicated. It's really not as complicated as it seemed because there are two cables coming off of the block. This one has your PWM. There's the female, there's the male. And this one has the lighting and the 3-pin connector for the pump, which is also a female. So you're going to take this one and you're going to connect it to your pump header on your motherboard. So we'll just pretend that this is my motherboard and connect it. Okay, so now it's connected. In order to transmit to the pump screen or the water block screen the information about the fans, you're going to connect these guys. So you've got, it's a little bit confusing. Don't forget, be patient. Now I'm going to suggest that you get a white marker or a silver marker or something and put some indicators on these connectors so that if you ever have to take them apart and put them back together again, you'll know the correct way to do it. So for the cable for the fans, which is this big mess, you're going to take the female and connect it to the male from the pump. Okay, so I've marked those both with a 1. Don't worry about that. That's just ARGB. This you don't need. This is just in case you need to daisy chain other fans to it, which depending on how many amps these pull, you may not want to do that. From the pump, you've got the female and male over here connected, right? You're going to take the female from the pump and you're going to connect it to your motherboard, which is what I'm doing right now. Hopefully you can see that the top speed indicator says 2160. Get it closer. But the bottom one doesn't say anything. That's because I haven't turned on that header yet. So here we go. And you can see that now it's reading the speed of the fans. I wrote on the connector from the pump, I put a P on it for power, just to, help remember that that's the one that's going to the header. Maybe you could put an H instead. I had already written the P and then I realized, hey, I could have put an H for header. So whatever one you want to do, however you want to, maybe you want to do 1 and 2 or something like that. I don't suggest putting them all together like I did where it worked because, again, it's probably going to draw too many amps and that's going to result in your header burning out at the very least. So split it up into 2 different headers. Pump header should be running on DC because it's a 3-pin. So it should be running on a constant speed for most of the time. You can do it at PWM if you've got a pump that is designed for PWM, but varying the speed may shorten the life of the pump. So it's better to just keep it at 1 speed, except for at the very end, if you're not already at 100%, and I just run them at 100%, then you can have it spike up to 100% when it gets hot enough that it's going to be a problem. And you'll have to look at your CPU specs to determine at what point it should jump up to 100%. But honestly, the pump is really not annoying. It's fairly quiet, which, kind of surprised me, but I'm glad. I can hear it, but when it's in the case, I won't hear it. And you probably won't either. And now it's time to listen to the fan. So I'm leaving my radiator right here sitting on my desk where it can get air because it's on an angle over space. And I'm just going to run it so that you can hear what it sounds like on the radiator. I'm going to slowly speed it up. The pump is running.
Okay, pretty quiet right now. I'm going to just put it right over here. I think I hear harmonic resonance. There's another harmonic resonance. That's my finger, by the way. And again. And that's maximum speed.
There is a weird noise coming from it that sounds like it could be a harmonic resonance. Not so thrilled about that. It is a bit on the loud side. And as far as the static pressure actually making it through, there is almost no airflow through here. It's very, very, very low. So I would personally say that between the weak pump and the weak fans, you may want to consider getting something else. You could try putting stronger fans on here. That might work. I haven't tried it yet, but it may make the difference necessary to keep your CPU cool if your CPU is hot. If your CPU isn't hot, it doesn't matter. If you've got a cool CPU, you can use this just fine. But for a hot CPU, you may be required to get much better fans on there. Now, I know you may want the visuals that this one has. There is at least one other design for the fans that doesn't use the yellow. I think it's like gray or something like that instead. So the fans are too weak. The pump is too slow. But it's a good looking AIO. And it does have an LCD screen, even though you can't like do custom images or something like that, which I think is okay. I'm going to be frank. If you're looking at your computer screen, why do you need custom images on your LCD for your AIO? I'm sorry. It just really just seems frivolous and silly to me. But that's me. I look at the world in a different way than some people. So if that's what you want, fine. If you want to look at a tiny little screen when you can instead look at your monitor, that's your choice. There's a fill port hiding behind the sticker. So that's good news. So if you get too low on it, or you want to do a flush and fill to make sure there's no garbage in there, it's a possibility. Visually, I like the way it looks. I don't like that I'd have to replace the fans to get it to perform optimally. And I know that people with OCD are not going to be happy that they can't rotate the block cover. But hey, there are other options from Yeston Zeaginal for AIOs, and I'm sure at least one of them with LCD also has a rotating cover. You know, it really isn't that hard for them to make it. It's just an extra step. I guess they don't like the idea of taking that extra step or something like that, or they don't understand that there are a lot of OCD people out there that need it to be turnable. Anyways, that's it for me. If you have any questions or comments, if you want to share something, if you happen to have this one, I would love to hear what you have to say. I hope that me showing you how to do the wiring has made a difference for you, because it is complicated. The first time I tried testing this again, I got it wrong because I've never seen one that's this complicated. This is the most complicated AIO in terms of plugging everything in that I have in my inventory. So thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Need to ask for your help. I'm sorry. On December 11th, 2024, Amazon terminated me and used false accusations against me. And on December 17th, I had my left shoulder operated on. I'm getting a lot better. I can do some things with my hand and my arm, but it's still pretty limited. If you could please help me out by liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, and turning on notifications for my channels, that would really help. If you want to help me financially and you can afford to, you can go to my Glenn's Fast Reviews and you can do a super thanks as a donation there. If you want to donate on a monthly basis, you can become a member there. And or you can go to patreon.com/GLENNMII. So thank you for that. Also, I'd like to say thank you to bleepingcomputer.com for allowing me to post messages on their forum about my videos. Thank you so much. And don't forget to visit them. They offer a lot of wonderful resources for people who are using computers. Have a wonderful day. Thank you. I'm not sure why there's both 3-pin and 4-pin. I'm going to scratch my head. Wait. Scratch my head. Okay, so, and ta-da! Oops, I forgot.
I'm so silly.
I forgot I disconnected it.